Good evening from Nairobi, Kenya. My name is Christian Kinkombe. I'm a co-founder managing partner for B Group, and I'm a correspondent with the Impact Entrepreneur magazine. We are here in Nairobi at the second Africa Impact Summit. And how are you? Pleased to meet you. So your name is?
Yeah. My name is Karnika Yadav, and I'm working with an organization called as Intellecap. I'm partner and director for Africa with them.
And where are you based?
I'm based in Nairobi. I've been working and living in Nairobi for last almost 12 years.
Yeah. Okay. So what does your organization do?
Okay. So Intellecap is part of a group called as Avishkar Group, and it is one of the first impact investing platform across the global south. So we started about 20 years back with the vision that the problems in the emerging economies have to be solved in a scalable and a sustainable way, and that can be done through the private combination of the private plus concessional capital, and not just the donor driven or the aid driven models. And that's how the whole concept of the impact investing came into place, and that's how we first started with two things. So we thought that as for the ecosystem, the ecosystem needs to develop.
Sorry, what happened there?
Your battery finished or something?
No, the battery is charging, so I don't know why did it stop. Okay, we just continue. Okay, it's recording. Oh. It's recording. Okay, so we're talking about where are you in the process?
Yeah, so I was just completing that, what the organization is about. So that's the organization. We work at two levels. One is developing the ecosystems for the entrepreneurs, which are solving particularly one of the most hard-pressed problems in the underserved low-income communities. And then the second thing is we provide or mobilize capital for these businesses, entrepreneurs, so that they can grow and scale their capital. So and the thirdly, we also provide the networking support to the stakeholders that are working in this impact investing, development finance, inclusive business space to come together to co-create solutions. And that is one of our initiatives called as Sankalp Forum that we have been hosting for the last 15 plus years, and have hosted almost 35 editions of that in Asia, Africa, Southeast Asia, and even in Europe.
Yeah. Besides the fact that Sankalp is much bigger than the Africa Impact Summit, what are kind of from your 2 days participation at the Africa Impact Summit, what are the major differences? How do they complement each other, those two events?
Yeah, I think there are differences which are complementary in nature. As Sankalp, we focus a lot on the entrepreneurs. So if you see out of the 1,500 people that we have at the event, 50% of those are entrepreneurs, versus here if you see at Africa Impact Summit, it is the concentration is more from the capital providers and the financiers. So that's how it is also complementary to each other.
Okay. So given the fact that you are the organizer of the Sankalp, what was your motivation to come here, and what are your key, let's say, takeaways from your participation in this edition of the Africa Impact Summit?
Yeah, so the motivation for me to be part of Africa Impact Summit and come here is again because it is again a global Africa-led, Africa-owned initiative with representation from across financiers from across Africa, and through these impact investing hubs, they have been able to develop a lot of interesting, innovative financing structures to understand what are those structures being developed, are they working, not working, and how they can be replicated in different parts of the continent.
Okay. Were there anything about the way that the summit was organized that you could kind of some takeaways that you could use in your own Sankalp event, or what are your key takeaways or lessons learned that you'll take with you and reflect upon during the weekend before you get to work next week?
Yeah, I think because the summit was organized in collaboration with different national partners or national advisory boards, so there was lot of like inputs, and it wasn't sort of heavy on just Kenya or East Africa, but representation from other, because everybody had a voice in that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a learning and that's a takeaway as well, that how Sankalp for us is still, I'd say, 60 to 70% is representation is from East Africa and rest of the world.
Okay.
A lot of international partners come for Sankalp, which is not the case here. But then we intend to increase the participation from the rest of the continent, which I think the Africa Impact Summit has been able to do very nicely.
Great. You mentioned the NAP, and that you also received an acknowledgement at the closing ceremony. Can you just speak a little bit to what have you been your engagement, involvement with the setting up of the NAP, and maybe also the organization of the summit?
Yeah, so setting up the NAB, I think Kenya took some time to for formally setting up through under the GST umbrella. So I have been involved from the very early days when GST came into the continent in Kenya. So we were involved in actually conducting a research on the landscape of impact investing in 10 plus countries across Africa. And that was also used by GST to identify which countries to focus on developing and then develop their strategies as well. So
you were actually a prerequisite for the establishment of the NAPs on the continent.
So that's how at the organizational level I've been involved. Then at individual level also, like once we decided we have to set up the one in Kenya, also have been part of the task force coming up with the priorities, what the Kenyan NAB needs to focus on and how its structure needs to be, who all the people need to be as a part of it.
Okay, so if someone like myself would like to attend the Sankalp next year, how do we get in touch with you?
So we have a website called as www.sankalpforum.com. Then our main website, which is www.intellecap.com, because you will also get the information about Sankalp Forum on that. So on the websites you can get all the information, and if you subscribe to our newsletters, you won't definitely miss getting information about Sankalp.
Well, I hope that Impact Entrepreneur Magazine will be present at Sankalp next year.
Yes.
It was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.